This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome to Around Kansas. We're still here at the Kansas Museum of the National Guard, and with me is Colonel retired Lynn Smith. And Lynn has been sharing some of his memories of Vietnam and his service there. And Colonel, nice to have you with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So you came up to see the traveling wall. So what is it like for you as a Vietnam veteran to see that wall?
It's rewarding to know that the country has finally accepted that what we did was worthwhile, and it's also very humbling because I've got a lot of friends' names who are on that wall.
Now, when you went in, I was listening to some of your remarks, and when you went in, you weren't planning on going to Vietnam.
That's correct. I enlisted in the Kansas National Guard, in fact, to stay in school and not go to Vietnam right up until President Johnson decided to withdraw student deferments, and within 3 weeks I had a draft notice in my mailbox. So I just left it there and went down to the National Guard Armory on South Seneca in Wichita and took the tests and enlisted that afternoon.
So I heard you tell, and I want you to share this with our viewers, your first impression, because leaving Wichita and arriving in Vietnam, boy, that was a big culture shock.
Yeah, well, I left Wichita December the 28th to go to Travis Air Force Base in California to process to go to Vietnam. And when I got on the plane in Wichita, we had about 14 inches of snow on the ground, and it was about 30 degrees. And when I landed at Bien Hoa Air Base in Vietnam was on January 1st, 1969, and the temperature was about 122 degrees.
So when you got to Vietnam then, and what was your job? What were you doing?
I was an infantryman. I had been in a mortar platoon, so I was very familiar with indirect fire weapons, and they assigned me to be a forward observer with an infantry company in the field. And that lasted for about 4 days before the company commander put me in charge of the gun crew. We carried an 81 millimeter mortar with the unit in the field. And so I ran the gun crew, and for about 4 weeks, and then I became the mortar platoon leader because we had a shortage of officers. And I had been promoted in late January to staff sergeant. And shortly after that, I ended up taking over an infantry rifle platoon as a platoon leader, and spent the rest of my tour as a rifle platoon leader.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.